Welcome to the Author's Corner with H.D. Campbell. Each show will be filled with news, interviews, technology, and reviews all about you, the writer. And now here's our host, H.D. Campbell. Welcome to the Author's Corner with H.D. Campbell. As always, I'm your host, H.D. Campbell. Welcome back to the first show of the new year. This year, there will be many changes coming in 2012. First, I have revamped the HD Insider at www.hdcampbell3.net. For a lot of people that don't remember, the Insider was for author interviews before I did the Author's Corner. Well, after I decided to do the Author's Corner, I sort of neglected it a bit and it sort of went down. Well, now it's back. It's back with columns written by me as well as other authors who will be contributing soon. The first writer besides myself to contribute is Miss Sharitha Newsom. You'll learn more about her later in the show. When you log on, just click on the HD Insider tab. Next, I have several new books coming from myself this year. After my Sergeant Weinstein sequel is released, there will be two long-awaited How to Lose a Black Woman sequels in the works. I'll keep you updated as to their progress, and they will be out later this year, hopefully by this summer. This, in addition to other books, as well as other events I will announce on future shows. Now, speaking of the show, on to the show. On today's Author's Corner, I will be having a powerful chat with debut author Sharon King. Then I will be talking empowerment with Paulette Harper. Then we'll get deep with Elliot Howard. Then our technology segment, HD Camera Productions updates, and final words. We'll be back after this. First, Michelle Michaels offered you a piece of herself in a piece of me. Then she teased you with a little sexual seduction. And now she's taking you on a road of emotions. Road of Emotions. Coming soon to your favorite bookstore or Z's website. Have you checked out the Author's Corner lately? It's the best show you're not watching. It's filled with news, interviews, reviews, and other surprises. Check me out twice a month with the latest in the literary world. Check me out on my website, www.hdcampbell3.net, or my YouTube channel at hdcampbell1230. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit. Welcome back. My first interview is a real treat. I've known this author for the last couple of years on Facebook. I didn't even know she was even writing a book until her husband announced it just last week. But as blessings will have it, I set up the interview, and as I learned, the Author's Corner would be her very first stop. So without further words, here's debut author Sharon King. Give me a brief synopsis of your book. The book is entitled, This is My Introduction from Me to You. Remember me?
Yes.
So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
My book is basically about my life, my struggles. I was homeless with my 3 children, the family member that raped me, the abuse that I had when I was married. So, and, it goes on every day, and my trials and my tribulation for me getting where I am today. And I did never stop fighting to have a better life for me and my children.
Okay. Well, what influenced you to put this in a book?
Because it's important to me to inspire other women, because not every woman is as strong as I am. And a lot of times women give up easily and think they're the only one that's going through something like that. Or have went through something like that and is ashamed or afraid to speak up or seek help. I went to counseling for many years because I needed help for myself.
Okay. Well, first I want to tell you that writing the book provided great therapy for you. But what I guess what I want to say, what kept you from not giving up?
My children, my goals. I wanted more. I wanted more in life because I came from a successful family. The business owner, I came from money. I wanted more, and it was not something I was settling for. I wasn't settling for less. I want more. I know I could do better, and I know I could get more. And I just kept on fighting, and I never stopped. never stop, because I want the finest things in life. I deserve that. So I kept on fighting.
That you did, and God delivered you through it. So
Thank
I
you
mean,
so much. Yes, you did.
well, you're part of what I like to give people labels, but this is one of my favorite labels I like to give people. I like to give people the label of living testimony, and that's what you are, and that's what this book provides: is a living testimony to your survival, to your struggle.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's no problem. My next question is, how long did it take for you to write the book?
It took me 10 years. It took me 10 years to write the book. My friend, just like my sister, we grew up together. Kiva Dale gave me a diary when I was in the homeless shelter in the Salvation Army. I had just moved my home. And she said, write and make a book out of it. It took me 10 years. And the reason why it took me 10 years is because there were things in my life I wasn't ready to face. And every time I would have to face those things, it put me into a depression mode. And so through counseling and helping myself, healing and church and God and everything else, that's why the book is out now. But it took me 10 years. And, I was so determined that I was going to do it, and I did it.
Okay. Well, you did it well. I love your book cover. You have to tell me who designed your book cover.
From Sin City Productions. He's in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna go. So, I mean, he did a wonderful job. I love the book cover.
She's awesome.
So, I want first. Now, my next thing I wanted to ask was, did you have a desire to write growing up, or is this, or if not, or if so, how long have you been writing or had the desire to write?
Growing up, no, I did not have a desire to write. I've always wanted to become a criminal attorney prosecutor. I've always wanted to have my own business because my family always had their own business. I wanted to do so many things, be a speaker for women, for children. I have my foster care license. I'm a foster care mom. I have no foster children at this moment. But writing was not something. I did acting. I did a lot of not writing. So it was something in the works that I had to do.
Okay. So pretty much this your only book?
No, it's not. Actually, I've already started writing my second book. And this book here, my first book, is also going to be in Spanish.
Great. Okay, what's the name of it, or do you have a name for it yet?
March 2012 is the debut for my Spanish version of my book.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to also ask, do you have any writing influences?
I do. I sure do. Raheem Brooks helped me, gave me a lot of advice and writing and not trusting anyone. But most of my mentor, Alice Walker and Toni Morris, Maya Angelou.
All great influences. In fact, I interviewed Raheem last year on my show, so Raheem's a great guy.
Yes, he is. He's awesome, and I wish him the best of luck in life. He's really a blessing to others, and I really believe he's going to prosper more than anything else, and he deserves it.
Yes, he does. I mean, like I say, he's a great guy, pretty much. So, I'm embarrassed at him. I'm gonna put him on his picture's going up too, so he's about to be embarrassed on the show. All right, switching gears for a second. You gave us a small background on what brought you to now. Tell me a little bit more about your rise to healing up until now.
For healing, for me, I didn't date for almost 6 years. And the reason why I didn't date for 6 years was because I needed to know who she was. I got so lost in everybody else's people I dated, my life, my struggles, my hurts, my pain, my scars, and my pride was hurt so bad. So I had to take 5 to 6 years off of not dating. so I could heal, because I wasn't going to be good to anybody. I wasn't even going to be good to myself, not even to my children. So for 5 years, 6 years, I dated no one. I loved me. I learned to love me, because I didn't love me enough, or I wouldn't have went through half the things I went through. But I have learned to love me. And in order for other people to love me, I had to love me first.
Okay.
That was my healing. I had to heal. I had to go through counseling. It's like a detox.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's prospered into a big thing now. I just put it like this: you have a book release, a wife, you're a mother, you're an author, you have a great job at a law firm. You got to ask. You got. I asked this of all my superwomen that I've interviewed. You got to also tell me, how do you keep it all together?
We put God first. Every morning we wake up, we pray as a family. We hold hands in the house and we pray as a family. We do it the first thing in the morning and the last thing at night. We sit around the table as a family and we eat dinner. We pray together. We have our times. We have our moments. I'm not perfect. I fight with my daughter, my older one. She doesn't live with me anymore. She's 21. But we put God first. And that is the rule that me and Jaime put together in the home. We put God first in everything we do, because we both have been through so much in our lives. It's impossible not to put God first, because He's the one that does everything to us. We have balance, discipline. There's time for me and Jaime. There's time for me and the children. There's time for all of us as a outing, as a family, and there's time for us individually where we need our little space. So it's just balance.
And I'm your husband and manager,
yes, he is.
And I definitely want to thank him, because without him, you would be interviewed. Without him, we wouldn't be talking now. And I hear there's something that you wanted to say on his behalf.
You know what? I'm sorry. You know what? I gotta tell you something. I just want to say I love Jaime Moreno with all my heart, and he fought for me. I knew Jaime for 3 years, and I would not date him. And he continued because I've been hurt so much. And when he met me, and when I finally gave him a chance, he said, "You're so hard, you're so cold. I want to see how you do it." And he entered my world, and he understands the person that I am, and how I'm so hard, and it's not easy for people to get close to me. It's not that I'm a mean person. It's just that not anybody can walk into my life and we're friends. It doesn't work like that. So I just want to thank him for being a father to our three children. He's not the biological father, but he treats them just as though they're his children. And I just want to thank him for that. He took on a woman that had 3 kids and made a family. And I'm so thank God for that, because it's hard to find, especially I have a son that's always in the hospital at least 3-4 times a week. And we have to balance our schedule to make it work. I never one day have I gotten child support from the younger son's father. And Jaime, he went, cashed in his 401k plan, paid $500-600 a month in medication between both of us. I'm very thankful and I'm very blessed for him, because not anybody or not all man or woman would stand beside you like that and understand your struggle. I was handling my business before he got here, but I believe you, it's a blessing, because it's split in half. And I'm truly thankful for him. I'm really thankful for him. I'm thankful for him being my partner, my friend, my lover, my husband, my manager. I'm very thankful for him.
Well, that's very good. Like I say, God is good, because, like I say, you have gone from you basically gone from tragedy to happiness.
Yes, I have, and it's a blessing. You're gonna be crying.
No,
it's a blessing.
Well, it's okay. It's okay if you cry. It's not a problem. I mean, this is again. That's. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's just you go through so much in your life that you never thought that anyone would love you, and you never thought that you would be happy. So when you finally get it, the first couple of months or the first couple of years, it's like you're so nervous and you question everything and you're not trusting, So it takes a time, because you have went through so much in your life. It's like you're a damaged project and nobody wants to be bothered with. But you are lovable, and God have you here for a reason, and God have you here for a purpose. You know, and I'm very thankful that God loves me so much, and He has put so much wonderful person in my life. You know, I'm so happy. Like I said to you, A.C. Campbell, you know, I'm so honored to be on your show because you know we never expect to have such a blessing, and you know, young and had to talk to you, and I'm so honored. I'm so thankful, and I really appreciate you too.
Well, I really appreciate you wanting to do the show because we talk on Facebook all the time,
Yeah.
and and I knew you were working on a book, but I didn't know how close you were. So, like I say, it was just by fate that your husband had put on there, "Hey, my wife's book is coming out January 24th." And you just take a chance, and here you are on my show. So, it's
Thank you so much.
oh, it is not a problem. Now I'm going to save you. Now I'm going. I'll get back. I'll get back to the book. Didn't mean to make you cry. I apologize.
It's
Uh,
okay. It's okay.
well, well. So
I
I
get
hope.
emotional sometimes, you know. I speak from the heart, you know. I get emotional sometimes.
Right. Well, now, well, first, did I get the date right? The book is coming
No, the book is coming out at the end of this month.
in
The
the
end of
month.
this month. I didn't put a date on it, but it is
Okay.
coming out at the end of this month.
Okay. With your book release, do you have any tours or planned? You have any tours or any appearances planned?
You know what? I have another reading circle. And asked me if I could be on his show, and I am going to be on his show. I did accept his invitation with Mark Melody.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to be on his show in April.
Cool. Could you keep me informed of that? So what I'll do is I'll put that on my website, so that way fans can follow you.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Yes, I will. I will sure do that. Yes, I will.
Also, too, do you have anything else like any book sightings or anything coming up or?
Not as yet. I haven't. You know, we're just starting off, so I haven't had. I don't. You're my first. I have Mark, and there's another guy I spoke to before I even finished my book. His name is Joey Pinsky.
Yes.
He's on my Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
I got to send him a copy of my book, but so far, no. I'm still in the work, and you know, me and Jaime's going to sit down and go over stuff of how we can get in different things.
Okay. My next to last question is: what advice do you have for any new writers who?
My advice to them is right from the heart. Not everybody wants to see you succeed. Not everybody wants to give you advice. That shouldn't stop you from progressing. You have to write from the heart. There's a thing called editing. Anything you do can be edited. Don't worry about the dot, don't worry about the semicolon. Just write from the heart. And when your book is finished, editor. It could be done. All things are possible. You're not going to get the best advice. So when you ask a question, don't always expect to have a correct answer, something that makes you happy. I believe you could do it. If I could do it, you could do it. I buy a lot of books from people from Facebook, and I support a lot of people. Not everybody's going to support you. Not everybody's going to give you the correct answer. But they are, because God always make a way. There are a lot of people out there that is willing to help you. Be patient. Don't rush writing your book. Take your time. It took me 10 years. The reason I say don't rush is because you just don't want to put out any nonsense, misspell anything. Take your time. Write from the heart. Write late at night. My time for writing is between 2 and 3 in the morning. It's quiet. It's peaceful, and I could think better. So I wish you all the best of luck. I'm looking forward for all your books to be on the shelf because everybody has a story, and you could do it, and everybody want to read your book, whether you believe in yourself or not. Somebody is waiting for you to write that book so you can make a difference in their lives.
Okay. And also, finally, you've come through a lot, and I want to know what advice do you have for anyone who's going through the same struggles you had to go through?
If you're in an abused relationship and you think there's no way out, that's not true. You have many ways out. The reason why you need to leave is because it'll kill your self-esteem and kill you as a woman, where you'll hate men and you'll never be happy. Leave. Just walk away. I know I'm not in your situation, but I had my own situation similar to that. Just leave. If you fall short and you have to be in a homeless shelter with your kids, let it be. It's not something that you're going to live your life the rest of your life. It's a progress. God is making you stronger and better for your blessings to come. Trouble don't last always. It's up to you. You get on your knees and pray. You pray. There were times I could remember I had to choose between going to work because I had no money or go grocery shopping so we could have food in the house. And I had to make a decision, the money for my bus fare or the money for food in our home. I've been there. I understand what it's like to lose a home. I understand what it's like to have a husband that slept with your best friend that you didn't know was a baby. You know, he was a baby father. You turn around and be the godmother for the child. I've been there. I've been there. I've been beaten. I wore extra makeup so people wouldn't see my black eye. It's not the way of life. You're the only one that could make a difference in your life. And if you have to leave when he went to work, you pack your stuff and you leave with your kids. You could do better. I did, and so can you. You are strong. We were born kings and queens. There's no reason for us to suffer as hard. But sometimes we do because we put ourselves in that situation, and sometimes we do, and it's unfair to us because we don't deserve it. But life goes on, and you're the only one that can make a difference in your life. I believe in you.
When the Author's Corner returns, we will talk empowerment with Paulette Harper. Need a manuscript edited? Or maybe you need a press kit. HD Campbell Productions can give your project detailed attention and will not be satisfied until you are. We also do press releases, resumes, and more. For prices and services, log on to my online store at www.hdcampbell3.net. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit. By Late Murder at 10. Ex-investigative reporter turned audio engineer Mark Alexander is brought back into the business when the top news anchor at the station he works is tragically shot by a masked gunman, and the co-anchor is arrested for engineering the murder, but Mark Alexander smells a classic frame-up. Now he has to face old friends and confront his demons to get the truth uncovered. But as each controversy gets uncovered, each turn could be Mark's last. Buy Late Murder at 10 at your favorite bookstore or these websites. Welcome back. My next interview is with a very powerful woman with a very powerful message. Much like Sharon King and other past female authors I've interviewed, she's a powerful superwoman of sorts. Now, let's have a chat with author Paulette Harper.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Okay. How do I do it all? I try to balance all of those, and it's not easy, but I have learned how to set priorities, and I can be really good at multitasking when I can. And so I really try to, as I mentioned, to put things in proper order in my life. And I've learned how to realize what things are more important, what things come first. And so with that, I'm able to kind of do what I do in a way that I don't feel like I'm shortchanging some of the things that are real dear to me. So that's it really in a nutshell. You know, what I can't get accomplished, I don't sweat it. I just put it to the side until I can.
Good policy, good policy. Well, throughout... Yeah. I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
Well, throughout that, you've written quite a few books. How many books have you written?
I have actually written 2 of my own books, and then I co-authored 2 books as well. And I write nonfiction inspirational books. And so I'm actually working on a fiction book that hopefully I'll be done with it by the the end of this year.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that here a little later in the interview. Right now, I want you to give me a synopsis of your current books.
Okay. My current book is entitled Completely Whole. And Completely Whole basically really is oftentimes people try to find fulfillment in a lot of vices, whereby it could be money or people or relationships. It could be in their jobs. It could be in drugs. It can be in alcohol. And so Completely Whole really does identify those areas in our own personal lives that block us from complete wholeness in those areas. And so because it is an inspirational book and it's a self-help book, it's really a mirror for the readers to find out really where they are spiritually and what areas that they have not really grown in. And so once the reader identifies those areas in their lives, they can apply the scriptures that come along with those particular chapters, that they can apply the Word of God to those areas in their lives and get to a place where that which has caused them to stumble and be a hindrance is no longer a stumbling block, but they can walk in victory. So Completely Whole really is a process that we can all get to, not saying that we'll ever be perfect, but we can get to a process in our walks with God that we can really get victory over those strongholds in our areas. And so in that book, I cover a whole lot of areas that we as people really find ourselves just kind of warring and battling to get victory over.
Okay. And go ahead and tell me about your other project.
The other project that I'm working on is actually I have a manual that I'm working on that is entitled it's my Right Now Living Workshop Manual, tools and tips and resources for the aspiring writer. And that manual is going to be out at the end of January. And it is a manual that will list a lot of tools and tips that readers or that writers can use and apply to help them in their publishing journey. When I became a publisher or a writer in 2008, I didn't know anyone. And because of that, a lot of things that I learned by trial and error. And after a season, people started, I began to develop relationships with other authors that really helped me develop my craft. And so inside this manual, I am sharing a lot of my own personal experiences. I list a lot of places where people can market and promote their books. A lot of tools that they can use to really help them get to the place that they, really feel secure in writing their book, and really kind of push those that have been procrastinating and those that have been sitting on their gifts, really kind of push them in the direction of getting their books published and established as a writer. So that's what I'm working on right now. And then my fiction book that I mentioned earlier, at the end of this year, I'm hoping that I'll be done with that and I can publish that as well.
Okay. All right. Well, I've been reading. I've went all over your site. You have an amazing site, by the way.
Thank you.
So first, before I go any further, tell my viewers how they can what your web address is and how they can contact you.
Okay, my web address is www.pauletteharper.com. And I'm also on Facebook as Paulette Harper Johnson. They can look me up there and connect with me and be my friend on Facebook. If they want to order some books, they can go to my website. My books are also available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and also on Smashwords as well.
Okay. Well, being on your website, I read it thoroughly. I've even looked at your bio. And on that bio, you had an amazing journey. So at what point did that journey bring you to writing and publishing?
I went through a divorce about 5-6 years ago, and in the process, I was married to a pastor, and so going through a divorce and being in ministry was very devastating for me. And so once I got through the ordeal of dealing with the effects of divorce, I really was at a place of not really knowing where I was going to go and really what life. And so it was a place of brokenness and a place where I was really not sure what to do. And so being, a minister, of course, I had to trust God in those very trying times that He was going to really orchestrate my life and order my steps. And so I began to really ask Him what He wanted for my life and how could I help other women that were going through the same issues that I was going through. And so the idea came to write a book, and really to write a book to really share with women and share with readers what I had gone through and how God really walked with me through in the most difficult times in my life and really brought me to a place of restoration. And so in my first book, that was in This Is Now, This Broken Vessel Restored, really was birth that came out of my own personal pain, but really wanting people to see that God can really bring restoration to a life, even though it may have been broken and torn and scarred and bruised. And but God can bring restoration, and so that's really where my writing journey began. And so that was my first book, which was released in 2008. And I've been blessed to be able to co-author a couple of books. And so my life has just really been a tremendous blessing. And I've been really grateful to God for the writing journey that He has me on, because it has been something that He has ordained and has instructed me to do, not because of, it definitely wasn't anything I had planned for my whole life, but it really has been the plan and ordained of God for me to be a writer.
Okay. All right. Well, switching gears for a second, with all that you just mentioned, with all the blessings, your journey, you now have a new journey. You have a blog talk radio show coming soon, Empowered to Prosper Radio. Tell me about your show.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I've been wanting to do a radio show for a couple of years now, but I had just not put my hand to doing it. And so an opportunity presented itself to me a few months ago. I was on another radio show with Tamika Hall, and she had just asked me, you want to co-host with me? And I'm like, wow. So I co-host with her for a couple of her shows, and I really was getting, the passion to do it. And so I decided that I would go ahead and take a step of faith and launch Empowering to Prosper Radio. And it launched last Monday. So I'm on the air on Blog Talk every Monday from 7 to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and where my radio show is going to be an all-around radio show where I'm going to minister and talk to and bring guests on who will be able to, help women. And I'm going to have some hip-hop artists on there and other authors. It's really going to be a platform to not only help and minister to people, but it's really going to be a platform to help and expose and bring exposure to other artists and authors as well. So I'm really excited about that. And so it's a new beginning. It's a new chapter in my life, but it's one that I'm really going to really embrace and really grow in and try to make it the best radio show that I could possibly be, or the best radio show it could possibly be, and be the best radio host that I could possibly be in that venue.
Well, I don't mean to put any more on you, and I don't mean to put you on the spot. We're in the new year. You've got a lot going on. Do you have any more projects or events planned for this coming year?
Actually, Um, I am, my daughter has written a book, and so I'm actually partnering with her in a business that she does the editing and I do the marketing, and my youngest daughter does the graphics. So we are launching this new business with TFL Publishing, in which I'm going to be the marketing rep, the marketing specialist. So I'm going to be helping other authors as well market their books and the products that they have. So that's something new that I'm establishing right now, and trying to get my website going, and far as letting people know that I do that. And I also do coaching and do writing coaching as well. And so I have that project that I'm working on, and then coaching other authors as well. And I do workshops. I have a workshop that's coming up within the next weekend, actually.
Okay.
So those are some of the things that I'm doing right now.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Hold on the workshop just for a second. I'm actually about to get to that here in just a minute. But first, I want to I'm into giving authors big heads, so you are no exception. That Was Then, This Is Now was a bestseller that you didn't mention, and also your book Completely Whole won the 2011 Reader's Choice Awards for Christian nonfiction. Yeah. That has to feel great. So what was your reaction when you found out that Completely Whole won that Reader's Choice Award?
Elated on it. It was both of them. I really was. It was just a tremendous blessing for me to find out that I had was honored in winning both of those awards and for both of those books. And so I remember when I got my notice for my first book, Next Generation Indie Book Award, which was a finalist. I was elated when I got that information, and in fact, the email that I got was on the last day that they were going to, make the announcement of who was the finalist and who was the winners. And so, to see that was a tremendous blessing for me, because it tells me that what I write, and I give all the praise and glory to God. What I write does impact the lives of readers, and that's really the reason why I write what I do. And then with Completely Whole, being the 2011 Reader's Favorite, that really was a tremendous benefit for me as far as being a writer and stuff. And so I have, both of those books have been bestsellers and award winners. So it makes me feel really good that I can write something that really does help my readers, and that's really what it's all about. So I was excited about it, and I still am excited about it.
Okay, well, you should be. There's no reason why you shouldn't. Now, my next question is, I know you probably mentioned it, but just in case you hadn't, what is your defining moment as an author?
Oh, I think my defining moment as an author is when I hear from readers. When I hear that my books have really made a tremendous impact on someone's life. One reader wrote to me and said, "Your books speak," and I thought, "Wow," because that spoke volume to me. And I remember when I wrote my first book, someone emailed me and they told me, they said, "Paulette, it was like you just walked my life for me." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness." And so when I hear feedback from those who read my work and they give testimony as to I have helped them, or I've helped them see something in their lives, or they have, really, it has really blessed them as far as their spiritual growth. When I hear that kind of stuff, that just makes me feel great. And so those are the defining moments that I really love, when I hear the voice of someone else tell and testify as to how my books have really made an impact on their lives.
Okay. Well, I am going to tell you this, by the way, before I continue my question. You're very humbled, and for some reason, it's the fans who humble you, because I get that as an author. So, I mean, trust me, I truly understand.
Yeah, because it really is humbling because, I mean, God could have picked anybody to be in love in where I am right now. And so the thing about where I am, God allowed me to go through what I had went through in life, as devastating, as bad as it was. And he brought me to a place of newness. And so me being able to write from my experiences and then to be able to write and be an expert in some of the things that I've gone through and share that, I know that where I am is only by the grace of God. And so I have to stay humbled, because as quickly as He has given it to me, it can quickly leave if I get a big head. And if I think that I've done it because of, I've done this and I've done that, it's my education, or I'm a real good writer or anything like that, I don't attribute anything of where I am because of Paulette. It is all because of the grace of God, and He has called me to do this. And so I have His blessing on my life, and I have His favor that enables me to do what I do, and it's all for His glory.
As it should be, as it should be. My next question for you is, actually, it is about your writer's workshop. It's going to be January 14th.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, please tell me what your program is going to consist of.
Okay. One of the things that really I was inspired to do was really help other aspiring writers get to a place where they don't procrastinate anymore about doing their book, but they really become published authors. And so with my workshops, I teach them on how to get their books not only just published, but how to promote and how to market their book. A lot of people will, journal, and they just don't know the next step. They don't know, okay, I have this, I have these, this manuscript, and what do I do next? And so I teach them on what to do next, as far as showing them the websites that they need to go on to get their ISBN number. That's if they want to do self-publishing. And I also teach them the difference between self-publishing and traditional publishing, so they can make a conscious decision as to which direction and which route they want to go in. I teach them about how to market their book, how to promote their book, ways in which they can learn how to be a better writer and a better marketeer. Share with them and tell them that their books is their business. It's a business that they're establishing, especially if they want to do self-publishing. So this is really the scope of my writer's workshop. It is really getting those that attend to a place where when they leave, they know what they need to do to get their books published.
All right. Well, one more question I got to ask, and I ask this of all my authors. What advice can you give to new potential authors out there?
One advice I would definitely give is that, and this is something that I have experienced from people those that have an aspiration to write a book. One thing that I realized is that a lot of aspiring writers believe that what they've written is polished. They believe that, everybody's going to read their books. They believe that, they don't really need to get it edited or anything of that nature. But I would tell aspiring writers, take your time writing your book. I know that it is such an exciting thing to be able to write a book and then see it published. I know the excitement and the adrenaline that flows from that, but I also know that it can be very detrimental, especially for a first-time writer, to put a book out there and it's not been thoroughly edited. It has not been even critiqued. It has not gone through the channels of the different editors reading it and defining it and refining it and polishing it up. So I would really tell them take their time about getting their first book out, make sure that it has been thoroughly edited by professional editors, and make sure that when they get that book out in print, that it is to the best of their ability, the greatest quality of book that they can have, because you can write and produce a self-published book, and it can look just as polished as those, write traditional books. So that's what I would tell aspiring writers: make sure what you're writing has been polished.
Okay. And one more time, where can we buy your books?
You can go to my website, www.pauletteharper.com. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, really, Smashwords has copies. Any online retail bookstore has copies of my book. They can also email me. Actually, when they go to my website, they can order from my website, and then they'll get a personalized copy of either one of my books on my website. But any online retailer has copies of my books.
Okay. Now, do you go under Paulette Harper Johnson or just Paulette Harper when you publish?
I actually go under Paulette Harper Johnson, and but for people that already know me, they know me as Paulette Harper.
When the Author's Corner returns, I will have a brother's chat with Elliot Howard. When a Russian nuclear warhead stolen in 1991 is discovered in Paris, the government asked the United States for help. They sent over their top strategist, codenamed Sergeant Wiseguy. Coupled with a smart mouth, can he work with the Parisian government in uncovering the plot before the warhead is used? Buy Sergeant Wiseguy Chronicles at your favorite bookstore or at these websites. First, Michelle Nichols offered you a piece of herself in a piece of me. Then she teased you with a little sexual seduction. And now she's taking you on a road of emotions. Road of Emotions, coming soon to your favorite bookstore or these websites. Welcome back. This brother I'm about to interview has a lot in common with me. As a fellow poet, I know how writing poetry about our love interest can be quite dangerous if found. I'll let him tell you his story. To get to that story, here's Elliot Howard.
I started writing when I was 16. It was shortly after I moved to Sugarland, Texas from Ohio. And I'm a talker, and I'm a talker in a new place without any friends. And so, in order to adjust to a new place, I just started writing. And I like poetry because you get your thoughts out in a very short, concise, statement, and still be creative.
Right.
My influences initially, everybody, does the tour due to Shakespeare, but that was just because of the fact that it just got me in the door. But the poet that really meant something to me was Geoffrey Chaucer. I liked Canterbury Tales.
Sweet, I know all about Canterbury Tales. Cool, go ahead.
In fact, most of my friends that we have a friend of mine that is now I went to college with at Pitt, and he and I both like the same part in Canterbury Tales called the Old Bard.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing about the book is that all the characters have a chapter, and so each chapter in Canterbury Tales will stand on its own. But if you read from beginning to end, there's a story that rolls through the book.
Mm-hmm.
And if you read my book, rewritten live, there's a huge influence of that thought process. Whereas Shakespeare had his own style, his own way of doing things, and I respect that. But it just seemed like Canterbury Tales and that Geoffrey Chaucer was writing seemed like he was just talking in the voice of everybody.
Right.
And that means that he was trying to relate to just the average person walking down the street. So And so that kind of style of writing influenced me, and so in my book, the way that everything's put together, and the poems can stand alone, but if you read it from beginning to end, there's an implied story that rolls through the book.
Okay. Well, speaking of which, tell me about your current book. Give me a brief synopsis of your book.
My book is called Rewritten Lives. It's a book of poetry that it's not, because of its design, it's not an anthology. What it is narrative poems that they cover different subjects. The chapters break down into basically a cycle of life. In how we go about dealing with things, and moving on to new situations. We have to let go. There's a chapter called Saying Goodbye. Then as we're going through the process of letting go of the past or situation we've gone through, we have our life sessions. And then there's the seasons of darkness where we really get tested on the new direction that we're going. And then we don't stay there. We come out of it. There's a chapter called Out of the Darkness. And then where our wounds were created during the time of struggle, we rebuild our broken hearts. Then we find what we're passionate about. The chapter about that is called For Love. And then finally, everything comes to an end. And there's a final chapter called In Conclusion. And the poems cover subject matter throughout that kind of pushes you through. To the end. So again, the poem can stand alone, but then again, but then there's a part where you can tell, if you want to say there's a narrator that exists in the book, that he's letting you in on a journey of a thought process of what it is to let go, how to let go, and start picking which direction you're going to go, where it is to go through a test, and thoughts that come to you while you're going through a test, and how you come out of that, and go through, because we all have ups and downs. So, and I believe, and the reason why I wrote that way, I've been writing poems since I was 16, so that's a long time ago. I'm not going to go into years, but
you're fine.
I never was the type of poet that gets focused on love poems. Because I believe life is more than just loving relationships. There's other things that go in and out of our lives on a daily basis that we can talk about. And so instead of having a rose-colored glasses, or she loves me, he loves me not, she loves me, she loves me not, or am I going to find love or not? I mean, okay, well, there's other things. and so that's kind of where my heart takes, and my writing takes people through in the course of the book.
Okay. Well, first, before I go any further, I want to tell you, and I always forget to warn authors who, before the interviews, never be afraid to tell me your full story. You're not on any time limit. You're not on any time constraints. I mean, if you wanted to go into writing to 16, go right on ahead. Because this is not a Q&A. This is more like a discussion.
Okay. Well, with that being said, I mean, let me just give you like a contrast. There's a poem in the book called Genuine, and I won the Editor's Choice Award for it a couple years back. And
congratulations!
Excuse me?
No, congratulations.
Thank you. And the poem is called Genuine. Here's how it runs. It's in chapter 2, called Life Session. I have approached you real, with the truth no less. I have approached you correct. But a question still remains, not from me, but from you. It is of interest with me what your intentions are, because sometimes your mind has the appearance of being afar. I told you I loved you from the bottom of my heart. Your actions say those feelings you often share, but your mouth is saying words that keep people unaware. Either way, it does not matter, because in time I will not be there. It is unwise to go after a love that I cannot win. Because of your indecision, one can see you are not genuine.
Okay.
That poem almost got me in trouble.
Oh, really?
When I wrote it. Because I was a freshman in college.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a sophomore year in college. And there was a young lady who I was sing at the time, and and I'm a poet for it. In a sense that
Right.
I was sitting. I've always been the type of sit there and I will think about a subject and I will write about it. It doesn't mean that I'm thinking about anybody particular in my life.
Right.
I was thinking about a topic and then just go with it.
Right.
And well, the problem was that I left the poem up in a computer and she'd come by to see, and we've been dating off and on for a couple of months, and she just kind of like, "Is this about me?" I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm being truthful. And she was like about to get medieval on me, and I'm like, okay, no. I mean, it was her. It was like a brother work situation. It was her and two of her girlfriends in my dorm room, and they were all looking at the computer. I'm like, it was like, come on, I'm surprised. And I mean, come on. I mean, any of your little listeners, we can all relate to this. It's like you're doing something innocent. She comes by out of the blue. It's like when you're doing something innocent or whatever, she can come out of the blue.
Exactly.
Like, you were about to catch it. Why? Just because you were just being you that day. But like, there was nothing else. You were doing nothing. There was nothing going on but the rest. It doesn't matter. So, and being the fact that I am verbose, it was like, it was part of me that was kind of tempted to say, wait, well, if the shoe fits. I'm like, my dad taught me wisdom. Like, don't say that. Like, it might be your dorm room, but a lady can take over that place with a heartbeat. You might be the one out.
You need to be more careful.
Like, she got backup. Where's yours? Ain't no man walking in there.
Exactly. Ain't no brother gonna dare go in there.
People, some of the guys were in conversation. We heard you. What'd you do? You give you the business. I was like, yeah. They were like, oh, you said that, huh? I said, yeah, but I wasn't talking about her. Well.
Oh my God. You there?
Rule number one. At that point on, I learned my lesson. Turn it off. So it was like, don't let him come in and make statements.
I'm going to be honest with you. Don't get me to talking with writing poetry and women finding the poetry. Don't get me to talking. So trust me, I know exactly what you're going through, brother. Trust me.
Exactly. Okay. And we're talking about like 17 years ago. I'm still thinking about it to this day. Like, yeah, I caught that one.
Exactly.
But it's a good poem, though. I mean,
no. Did you? Yeah. Well, so I want to thank you for reading some of it for my show, because I'm actually going to put it on there as you read it.
Okay. That's great. And I got some more. I'm going to contract some of the stuff for you.
Okay.
You can see, because like I said, Genuine is in dealing with is part of the group, part of the chapter called Life Sessions in the book, and Life Sessions is like the lesson room where, like, if you've ever been in a position where you have to decide whether or not you want to stay in a relationship or you want to leave your job or whatever, all right? There's a thought process you got to go through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't some things you just can't, it's not that simple to just say goodbye.
Right.
You gotta get used to what it is to say goodbye. You gotta know why you're saying goodbye. Because if you don't know why you're saying goodbye, you might come back. In the poem, Genuine, as you can see, this is talking about the fact of a love relationship. And I mean, I know you guys be feeling this, so I'm almost going to break it down. But I know that the guys have a problem with being sincere. I know that there are plenty of men that do. On the other side, if you ask the man, if you just ask him to be real, the reality is that we deal with the exact same thing dealing with women that the women deal with the guys. Okay? And that's just true. I mean, there's some women out there that are not sincere. And then, from my perspective, when you're looking at, so here, the guy's doing, working, doing what he got to do to show her love and affection and all that. And on one side, she's saying, I love you. But when she's around her friends, family, whatever, like that, she acts like she don't know the man.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like wondering, are you with him or are you not?
Right.
Right. And And the thing is that you can't just blindly be in a relationship like that because unless you call a check on that, it's always going to be the case. And if you keep on inviting that type of confusion, then that's only going to hurt. That's only going to be a doomsday for the relationship. So if the person doesn't is inclined to fix that part and listen to hear you out, then you need to end it then. Or they can fix it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the two. Because if your move is here and genuine and you're bringing it, I mean, man, this is for male or female. The other person got to bring it too.
Yeah.
And it's all about being genuine. One lady I was talking with it too, it's about 50-50, 100-100 to me. Like 50-50 being I bring mine, you bring yours. But the 100-100 goes to the fact of I bring 100% of my 50. You bring 100% of your 50.
Mm-hmm.
so that way there is no question about like, are we together, are we not?
Right.
And if you're not prepared to do it, then I already got friends.
Lord.
Like, I don't need one more friend to the friend group that I already got.
Exactly.
So
I got a million friends.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry. You there? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I cut you off on something.
No, so I mean, I think the thing is that I think this is where also this book breaks down. I'm going to go into another poem. Those two of them and it is that very rarely, really about a man, we don't talk, we don't share these stories.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we do go through emotions. We have them. They're deep in there. It's like, but most of us come up in a situation where the fact that in society, we hear the story of women wanting us to share what we think and feel, but then again, and that is women, just everybody in general, but then when we do, it's about being weak.
Right.
So I just feel like, you know what, heck with it. Open the book. So in contrasting, okay, so that's life sessions and that's genuine. The follow-up in the book, I will say this. It's a poem called No More Reminiscing.
All right.
And I'm going to read it and I'll talk about it afterwards. I remember when we used to talk daily in your life. You would inquire of advice that would help you in your constant walk. I knew you and you knew me. I was in you and you were in me. And even the slightest care you gave to me, I took your cares and did not think twice. The road of victory, together we travel, helping those along the way. I helped and watched you grow, sharing in those days with you great and unsearchable things unknown. However, the present has become past, and the past has become history. After walking in unceasing victory, you turned, breaking your heart the way you walked, and with a boastful mouth you basked in what you felt was your own glory. For you, my heart will grieve, but it is you who are in harm. In the deadly vice of a world that would sooner let you die from silent weakness than have love for you to give. No more reminiscing of the past. I see your pain, and if you turn from the world, I will take you back with a love that will last. Unconditional love, which will remove your sorrow and give you a new life. Though time that may have passed, you are not out of the running. I will redeem the time you just passed. We will again walk in victory, and together the world will we reminisce.
I like that.
Thank you. As you see, it's a different gear from genuine. In no more reminiscing, it's still part of life sessions. So still that life sessions, the chapter is a very dynamic chapter. And it deals with the fact of, there's a part of with their decision or with our choices. Sometimes we make bad ones. Sometimes we make good ones. The reality is that the problem with reminiscing is that as you want to look back and make sure you learn the lessons that you learned, but you don't want to live there in that moment that passed. Because because that situation came to pass. It's gone. And from the position of the voice in there, it's talking about the fact of the person that was hurt. We all have some stories, or the stories of someone, working along with somebody, helping them to get to where they need to get you in life, be successful and all that. And as soon as they did all of that, homeboy bounced. I mean, or the girl left. I mean, or the son stopped. A dad worked with his son to get him making a successful career, and then all of a sudden the son doesn't want to talk to his dad anymore. I mean, those stories are out there, they're prevalent,
right?
And the thing is that the people those of us that are left, that have been left, that we know what the person's about to walk into because it's the wrong mentality, and you're only going to open up to their own demise because there's the right way, the wrong way to decrease your fellowship with somebody that's helped you out. And if you do it the wrong way, I've never seen anyone that's done it the wrong way that they hasn't come back to haunt them later.
Right. That's an old karma thing coming.
Yeah, you can say that. But the thing is that it's really what the person, for those of us that have been in a situation where we have been the one that's been left behind or abandoned or whatever.
Right.
And we still value having a relationship possibly in the future with that person. The thing that we cannot do is reminisce about the fact of what the other person and what that person did.
Right.
Because they're not slapped them in the face with the wrong choice that they make or the hurtful decision that they make. Okay? Acknowledge it. I mean, even the Bible says if you have an art with somebody, you tell them, but you don't live there in that moment. You move on. Allow God to move you on. All right? Because that is only then will that does allow the other person the opportunity to come back. Because they're going to come. People, we go back to what we know ultimately. And if what we know receives us, and it's healthy for us when we come to ourselves, we got to be, come back. The present day, of course, we talked about, everyone comes to church, everyone knows the story about the prodigal son. The father was willing to take his son back.
Right.
And he didn't bring up the fact that his son had left and all that stuff. And all the hurt that went along with that. He just took him back. And, and of course the son came back with the right spirit. That being said, the person that perpetrated the wrong also cannot continue to beat themselves up for what they did. But on the flip side, you got to own the fact of what they did. Say this, make their amends, say their apologies, okay? And then both can walk along the love. Bottom line is, for both the person that was hurt and the person that did the hurting, reminiscing over the past will only hurt what's going on in the future. And that's the reason why you got to let it go. You got to let it go.
You can't hold on to it. It'll eat you up.
Exactly. Again, it's part of the life section of the book. So you don't right off the bat, you're learning what it is to be genuine. Or hearing the story of a person wrestling with someone that's not. And then in the course of it, okay, being left behind. and then, getting what you have and your feelings off your chest. Okay, you're going to go, but I still love you. I'm still going to be there for you. If you change, I'll be there with you.
Right.
But you gotta, you gotta take the groundwork.
See,
and so the book, like I said, the book follows that. The funny thing about both genuine and no more reminiscing is that in a way it's a twin poem because there was a master poem that I was writing, a big narrative, and I hit the wrong button on the computer and it erased it.
Oh.
And so I was frustrated.
Right.
And so then, out of that, I wrote Genuine and No More Reminiscing.
Right.
So, I love them both.
See that? Well, see, here's the thing. From what you just told me, I can understand the inspiration for the book. And I'm about to tell you something else. The story you told will be on this interview, so maybe she'll listen, maybe she won't listen. We don't know, but everybody will know. Just to let you know.
And it's like she's married now, has 2 kids living in Georgia, so I think I'm safe now.
Mhm. Well, my next question to you, my friend, is you're associated with Delphine Publications and Tamika Newhouse.
Yes.
How did you two meet?
Well, actually, I looked her up on the internet. I was, she did a book review for Rewritten Lives. Actually, that's how it got started.
Mm.
We, back when the book was released, I was, trying to get the book pushed to get reviews. And, the book has 24 reviews. It has a 4.7 out of 5-star rating right now.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's getting some love.
See, I love it.
And Tamika gave a really good review of the book, and so I kept in loose contact with her because there were some things I had to take care of family wise first before I could really go about pushing the book the way I needed to take care of.
Okay.
Priorities. So
I understand the priorities. Trust me.
Right, and so after all that got squared away, then Tamika and I got back in contact with her. And, we just started talking about she has this thing called a virtual book tour that her group does, and I wanted to get in on that because I'm a dad, and especially I want to get out publicly. I'm gonna have to be a dad,
right?
And so I've been get out as freely as I could because it's not just me.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
So the virtual book tour was a good idea, and I asked her about it, talked to her about it, and said I was in. So that's how that part got going. So I've come to Tamika about twice, 2 or 3 times already, and we still have a regular every once in a while we get contact with each other on Facebook.
Well, she don't realize I put on the spot more times than she realizes. She's put on the spot now too. Her picture will be up when we talking about it. I will make sure her picture is up during the interview.
All right, that works.
Hey, do you have any other books coming out anytime soon, or?
Well, yeah, I have some stuff that I've been working on. Because the Rewritten Lives is actually the first of a 3-book series. The next one up would be Earnest Thoughts of a Rewritten Life, and then the final book of the series is going to be called Days of Revelation.
Okay. Now, any like, I guess. Well, no, you gave me enough poems. Now, no sneak preview poems or anything like that, or.
Oh, yeah, I got you. I got you on one for this one.
Okay.
I got it actually. I got this up on my Facebook site.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and break this one off for your listeners here.
All right.
It's called Philippians 4:13, Shadow of My Father. Can we talk for a minute? After all, time is fleeting, and this meeting I dare not let pass because I thought I was cheating time, only to become aware that the sand was merely going out of the glass. To mountaintops and through valleys, the miles have tallied many places, but there was never a place where your name was unknown. Near and far, all knew you. The voices would ring. You were doing all things. Under a rock, over a tree. What a travesty of that time. I didn't know I was free, yet you were doing all things. In moments, in times, where I was unwise in my own conceit, and found myself with only my arm to rest my head, your voice kept me fed on a path that would bring me back to you when I should have been dead. You were doing all things. When I was a child, I thought of one would. Now I have put away childish things as a man, which you showed me I should. Yet, it is more than that. I'm awake now to the truth I was missing in my living slumber. And with this slumber, my house will be built and last for the rest of my days. Spoken words last for a moment, forgotten over time, and often misrepresented, leaving the messenger resented. But the narrative lasts forever. How clever. The message of life was given to me. Love too deep to let me forget that you were doing all things through Christ who gave you strength. In because you have done all things, so should I. You gave me this loving message. I see clear as day. And in every way, I say thank you for the life you have given me. Because of you, I know how to live free.
I like that. Now, and you don't mind if I display that as you read it for people who for the people who are listening to you.
No, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, thank you again. I appreciate it. So you said that that you're in the midst of getting together a tour right now, but nothing's definite right now.
Yeah, yeah. The physical tour, I'm working on that. The virtual tour is going to be released soon. Jimmy and I are working on that. She's been processing some stuff, get that together, and as soon as I get that ironclad, I'll be able to give you that information as well, so that way people know when it's going to be up on the internet and ready to go. And of course, it's easy for any of the fans to ask me questions or talk to me because I have a Facebook site, which is where I do most of my work. But I also have MySpace, and I also answer emails and stuff like that too.
Okay, before I go any further, give us your Facebook name, your website, give us all your contact information for your fans or people going to buy your book.
Okay, well, Mike, you want to get to meet me a little bit, get to talk to me a little bit, get to see what I do. On the Facebook, I have two sites right now. I have one personal site called Elliot Howard. Just type Elliot Howard in your browser, I'll pop up. You see a man wearing a tuxedo. And then also my book, Rewritten Live, also has a Facebook page of its own. I have a fan page, and just type in Rewritten, REWRITTEN, and it'll pop up. And just click on that. You can click like, and there's tons of poetry on both the Elliot Howard page, which is ELLIOT space HOWARD. A lot of poetry on that, as well as other things. And you also have in Rewritten a lot of work on there as well. And I'm constantly experimenting and adding new work or putting little cuts on. I'm going to be including into the new work that will be coming soon. Coming in I'm shooting for like middle of 2012.
Okay. Oh, pretty good. Very good, man. So now I come now to where I want to ask you first. How long have you been writing?
I've been writing since I was 16.
16.
So that's about 19 years. I'm entering my 20th year.
Okay. Cool. Well.
Oh yeah. Before I go even further, the main website is www.rewrittenlives.com.
Okay. Well,
okay. I've been writing since I was 16, so I'm entering my 20th year now. The first poem I ever wrote was called "My Rose," and that's actually inside Rewritten Lives as well. And that was and I've kept it because I do love it. It was a fun poem to write, and from that point on, each stage of my life brought on different styles of writing that I would experiment with, or different emotions, and that's what I would focus on, as opposed to just being caught up in the rhythm, but also doing it within the free verse style. And but I have, in upcoming works, you'll see other styles that I have in my stead, because I do diversify my work significantly. I just don't focus on one particular method. It all depends what the topic and point that I'm trying to make.
Right. Okay. Well, my next question is, do you have any advice for any new upcoming writers who's trying to get to where you are now?
Well, I would tell them, stay true to your craft, know what your voice is, and then know what direction you want to go in terms of promotion, as well as how you want to maintain contact. It being easy for fans and publishers to get a hold of you. Also, make sure you have a strong support system around you. As with everything in life, strong support system, people that are consistent with you, that are standing by you. that will tell you what you need to hear. Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily what you want to hear, but what you definitely need
A
to
bunch
hear.
of yes men. Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah, a bunch of yes men around you.
Yeah, you gotta have a good, strong network. I mean, people that'll add to you, not distract you from what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay. Okay. Next, we'll talk about non-technology on the Technology Corner. Finding love over the internet is stressful, but for one serial killer, it's murder. Mark Alexander has to track down the cyber serial killer before his body count rises, but tracking him through cyberspace is harder than he thinks. By God, from the heart of a virtual demon at your favorite bookstore or from these websites. Have you checked out the Author's Corner lately? It's the best show you're not watching. It's filled with news, interviews, reviews, and other surprises. Check me out twice a month with the latest in the literary world. Check me out on my website, www.accampbell3.net, or my YouTube channel at hdcampbell1230. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit. It's all about the writer's technology in your Technology Corner. Welcome to the Technology Corner. Today, I want to talk to you something I like to call non-technology. A few shows back, I talked to you about using backup devices to save your most important manuscripts and documents like a portable hard drive or a flash drive. But how many of you still keep hard copies in file cabinets? How many of you still keep dictionaries and thesauruses on your bookshelf? Don't get me wrong, PCs are wonderful to have, laptops are wonderful to have. They check out spelling and grammar and keep and store our files. You can't get no more convenient than that. Now, I'm not trying to be a downer or protect the, a doomsayer saying your PCs will fail, but we need to start printing hard copies of our manuscripts and putting them in file cabinets, along with our valuables, with our Social Security cards and our cash and things like that, because you never know. Natural disasters, fire, no matter, you know. So, I keep all my apartment documents in a file cabinet. And my manuscripts, because I have all manuscripts before. And it's always good to have that backup in there. See, it's a pain, but at least I can scan and I'll have the manuscripts ready. I suggest that even if you don't want to bother with the hard copy, use a backup flash drive, use a backup portable hard drive, and just keep it in a safe. Just have extra backup. Also, too, you should always keep dictionaries and the sources on hand, just in case you want a quick reference or your computer fails. Or a lot of times, spell check don't get everything. A lot of times, they don't get good grammar check. I mean, every so often, you have to pull out a book every so often. Maybe it's just me, but I love having these books on the shelf. And that's your Technology Corner. When we return, an HC Campbell Productions update with a final thought. Have you checked out the Author's Corner lately? It's the best show you're not watching. It's filled with news, interviews, reviews, and other surprises. Check me out twice a month with the latest in the literary world. Check me out on my website, www.accampbell3.net, or my YouTube channel at hdcampbell1230. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit. Need a manuscript edited? Or maybe you need a press kit. HD Campbell Productions can give your project detailed attention and will not be satisfied until you are. We also do press releases, resumes, and more. For prices and services, log on to my online store at www.hdcampbell3.net. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit. Welcome back. I first want to thank you all for tuning in to the Author's Corner with H.D. Campbell and supporting me. It's because of you I get to do this and have fun with every show. As I mentioned earlier, the HT Insider is back with articles and columns. Personally, I'll be adding my own writing and marketing tips. Plus, I'll be adding articles and many interviews with the occasional general opinion piece. The first contributing columnist we have on now, her name is Sharita Newsom. Her articles and opinion pieces will be about love and relationships. She currently has a first piece out called My First Love. You must log on, click on the Author's Corner, not the Author's Corner, you must click on the HD Insider tab to read the first piece. It's very deep. My next book sale will be out in February, and I will announce that on my next show. Now, for my final thought. With the new year comes new goals, new projects, new year. I'm urging all of my fellow authors, let's please do more to work together and not against each other. I always say there's more room at the top for everyone. We just have to work together to get there. On the flip side, I also tell us authors we all have to do our share. Don't just ride another author's coattails. Because if we do our part, we will get there. There's enough room just up there, period. You know, well, finally, I want to give a shout out to Victoria Christopher Murray on the release of her new book, Sinners and Saints. It's in your favorite bookstore, and she's touring right now. Check her out when she's in your town. Well, that's the Author's Corner with H.C. Campbell. See you next time. And as always, let your writing do your thing. Thank you, and God bless.